Good evening. This is John Harder. I am recording this video because the internet is not stable enough for me to do a live broadcast, and and I still wanted to share something. And so this is about, I guess, about as good as I can make it today. I apologize for not being able to do the live broadcast, but that is, we have another couple of days here. Actually, I think it's about, hear that? Interesting sound. Yeah, there's a guy out here giving donkey rides. So if you really want a donkey ride, just come on over to Puerto Vallarta here, and I'm sure he would oblige. Be happy to give you a donkey ride and probably hear that sound from closer, if you were able to hear it, that is. All right, so what is there that I have to share today that would be worth sharing? Well, there is very much that is worth sharing, obviously, and it seems like sometimes it might sound like a broken record when I start my broadcasts, because I tend to believe that these videos are meant to also be watched by people who are not yet in TBC, people who likely not yet know what's going on in the world, people who haven't been reached with the truth of how the world operates and how, the deception behind all of the news media and so on. And that is one of the biggest, has been one of the biggest downfalls in human history in the world. The fact that we were misled, humanity was being misled by the news media and so on, and basically all the news media worldwide are owned by the same people, owned and operated by the same people. So when world news occurs, it pretty much doesn't matter what country you're in, you'll be hearing the same message. And the message can be anything from a U.S. embassy being bombed somewhere in Syria or whatever, to, a ship being sunk, to the World Trade Centers being, jets being flown into it. And mark your words, or mark my words maybe, that always they quickly find somebody who's responsible. They quickly find somebody who's responsible. Now, sometimes these so-called false flag attacks aren't even true, because the fact is, let's say something is going on, or a news, we get a broadcast on the news worldwide that an embassy was bombed or something was, you know, just take note here. It's the U.S. Okay, it's the U.S. that's being attacked all the time. Okay, it's the U.S. They are the ones being attacked here. I wonder why. I wonder why it's the U.S. that would be attacked. Why would the jets fly into the World Trade Center in New York? Why? Why not in Russia somewhere? Why not in China? Why the U.S.? Why the U.S.? Why the U.S. Embassy or whatever? Why? Well, maybe that's a question I'm going to let you kind of fish for yourself, because I think if you give it some thought and do some research, I think it'll begin to click that whenever there is something going on, or even when there isn't anything really going on, the U.S. Army is everywhere, pretty much worldwide, involved in everything. Well, what about, why is the U.S. Army, why has the U.S. Army been involved in Colombia here in South America for so many years? The U.S. Army involved with the drug cartels in Colombia. Listen, if the U.S. Army was there to wipe out the cartels, they could do that in a half a day. It doesn't take 10 years to take care of a couple of little cartels. So that then begs the question, what's behind it? That then begs the question, what's behind it? Why all this time? What's the deal here? Well, maybe that's another thing you can do some research. There is actually a book that has been written by a person who was in Colombia for a long time. I wish I knew the name of it. I had not thought of mentioning it in this video before I mentioned it. So now I don't actually, because I don't actually know what it's called. But I'm quite sure if you look for a book regarding drug cartels in Colombia, it would show up. And there is this person that wrote that book has a lot of insight and has done a lot of research as to what exactly all went on, why the U.S. Army is there, and so on. And guys, they aren't there to clean up the drug cartels. They're not there for that. We all know that we don't even need to give it any second thoughts to realize that. Like I said, they could do that in a couple of hours. Well, so what are they doing there? Could it be that the drug cartels are the puppets working for the banking cartels? Are the banking cartels, these banks, trying to control the world? Are the drug cartels, is that all theirs too? Well, I'm afraid that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I'll let you do your own research on that. Okay? Now, there's something I want to talk about. I have now, again, began with the evil and deception and all of that that's going on in the world. And listen, humanity, it is not very hard for people to make very sound and smart decisions on how to help humanity and how to move forward in life, making and creating a better world for future generations. If you understand what's going on, if we understand what's going on, if we are being told the truth. But when nothing makes sense, when everything that we are told are lies, and all the reasons behind it and everything is all mockingbird, it's all stuff that is made up, and the havoc that is being created to gain more and more control by deceiving humanity. That this creates a complete misunderstanding, creates a complete confusion, so that we can't make proper decisions. We don't know what to believe. We don't know what to believe because everything that we're being told are lies. And so, none of that is true. However, having said all that, we do not need to be on that road of being deceived, because we are creators. We have a way out. We have a way out. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And when you start asking yourself questions deep down inside, answers will come. You might not get all of the details, but there will be answers deep inside you that will tell you, that will basically lay it out for you how it is. You see, I know this from experience. If my brother Jake watches this video, he will know what I'm talking about, because him and I, we often talked about what is going on. We knew that there had to be powerful people sitting in the shadows controlling the governments, even though we did not understand how all this works, what all went on. But we knew, deep down in, we knew that something was drastically wrong, and the news that we were being fed was by far not true. And I think this is something that many, many people understand. I think so. And so, now, there's something that I've been wanting to talk about in a hangout, and maybe I will do it in a future hangout a little bit more in detail. I'm not going to go into very much detail about it here, but I want to talk about something that we're given in the Bible, something that is written in the Bible. And what I want to talk about is where Moses is tending to the sheep, and as it's given to us in a movie, one sheep wanders off, and as he goes to rescue or get that sheep back, he ends up being distracted by a burning bush. And now this is interesting because the Bible, what is written in the Bible, aren't necessarily stories that actually happen. Many of them could be, but they aren't necessarily, because it's basically been put together from ancient scripting, many scripts that have been written by probably mostly Jews. And likely that many of the Jews that were faithful Jews, and maybe not necessarily all of them, nonetheless, we are given this book. Now, if we want to understand what should we all believe, what should we go and believe as actual fact that has been written in the Bible, what should we take as stories, what should we take as a metaphor, as it were, what should we take as and apply to spiritual truths. You see, these are questions that we kind of need an answer for. And I will say it again. The truth is within you. The truth is within you. When you look inside, there's no place where you will get a better understanding than going inside, because your spirit is one with the all-knowing mind in the universe. And so therefore you have the direct connection to all the truth that there is. Now let's talk about that burning bush a little bit here and Moses' relation to it. And there's something that to quite a surprise I caught on to not that long ago. For many years I've been studying, I've been reading the Bible, and there's something that all of a sudden dawned on me, and that is this, that when Moses noticed the bush, and the bush started talking to him, the bush said to him, take off your sandals or your shoes, take off your footwear, for the ground whereon you stand is holy ground. And it's funny how for many years it always seemed to me, I always seemed to get the picture as if he was supposed to be wearing his sandals to stand because this ground is holy. Don't touch it with your feet. But that's not what it said. It said take them off because the ground is holy ground. What does that mean? It simply means remove all the clouds, remove all the unclear stuff from your mind, and touch the bare truth. Come in contact with it, for it is holy ground. The truth, we must touch it with our bare feet, with our bare hands. We must get in contact with the actual truth, because that's what's important. Why ground? What is ground? You know, it's interesting to realize what the ground actually is. So what is the ground? The ground is the charge. It's the charge to that makes the circuit complete. The ground, when you touch the ground, you close the circuit. This is actual truth. That is how we are asked to know the truth, to get their contact with it. So here's another thing that is really, really interesting about this. And that is this. Moses was wondering, well, what shall I say? The people, they're not going to believe me. They're not going to believe me. And one of his excuses was, but I can't even talk their language. You know, I'm not, you know, you got the wrong guy here. You got the wrong guy. But, you know, the truth is that God never has the wrong guy. Never does he have the wrong person. If you feel that tug within yourself to share the truth, to share the understanding that you have, then don't be giving excuses saying that you can't talk, you can't. Yeah, you can. You can. You need to start out to, you know, say it as you understand it. And you know what? At first, it might seem very uncharted. You might be quite shy. You might not do that well. I don't know. But as you share the truth that you know, you will definitely get good at sharing it. And another thing, here's what I really want to hone in on. And this is really basically why I'm talking about this. I want to remind us how powerful our thinking and our words are. Because there's a verse that also says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This simply means that if you think poverty in your heart, then that is what shows up in your experience. If you think wealth and riches and goodness and joy and peace, all of those good qualities in your heart, then that's what shows up in your life. That's what shows up in your life. Because a man is as he thinketh in his heart. Your heart is the subconscious. It's the subconscious. That is where this goes on. Now, if your subconscious isn't used to thinking, you know, all of those high qualities in life, then we need to train the subconscious to do this. And this is where prayer comes in. Now, one of the things that Jesus talked about was regarding prayer and regarding those kind of things is don't be, make vain repetitions as the heathen do. Now, wait a minute here. Why was he mentioning repetitions? What's that got to do with prayer? Why did he say that? Because how do repetitions, what's that got to do with prayer? Because prayer is repetition. Because prayer, the purpose of prayer is to change the thinking of your subconscious. That's what the purpose of prayer is for. And you do that by repeating, but not with vain repetition. You do it with, you don't do it with repetitions that you don't understand what you're talking about, or that are meaningless. You just do it just because what? Because you you're used to it, or because that's what you you feel like doing, or whatever. No, no. You must do it knowing what you're doing. Knowing. You know that you are making these repetitions because you're applying it to your subconscious. And you believe that when you are doing these repetitions, your subconscious will pick up on it and make it a reality in your life. This is why when a person wants to understand the truth, then you keep telling yourself that I am beginning to really, really get an understanding about this. I'm beginning to understand this really, really well. And I'm able to share it with people. I'm able to really, really be able to not convince, that's not the word I meant, but to be able to convey this truth in order so that people can understand the truth. That's what that means. That's what prayer is. I am understanding it. And by the way, why did God say to Moses when he asked him, who shall I say that sent me? He said, I am that I am sent you. Tell them, I am that I am has sent me. Well, let's understand that a little bit better too. I am that I am. Who is this I am? Who is this? You see, God is power. God is the energy that flows into your consciousness. And as we're told in 1 John, it says that love is first pure. As it enters your consciousness, it is first pure. It isn't negative. It isn't positive. It isn't anything until you, through your thinking, turn it into something. And once you, through your thinking, turn it into something, that whatever it is you turn it into will show up in your life. Now, let us apply this to TBC. Let us apply this to sharing TBC. So what do I do? How do I say this? TBC. You see, I am wealthy. I am wealthy. I enjoy sharing TBC with others. TBC truly is the tool that will change the world, the economy in the world. And the truth of understanding will change the hearts of humanity. And this is the truth that I am sharing. The truth that as we understand, we make changes in our own lives and share it with others so that they can also make the changes through understanding. I am is a very, very powerful phrase. I am. When you say, I am sick, I am worthless, I am poor, all of these things will come to pass in your life as you say that that's what you are. People very often do not understand how poor they make themselves by saying that I am poor. I'm living in poverty. And that is very, very unwise. I want us also to understand another thing. And I think as you connect the dots here, I think it will make much sense to you. There is a verse that also says that God will not leave unpunished who misuse his name or who use his name in vain will not be left unpunished. That's exactly what happens when I say I am poor, or I say I am sick, or when we use these kind of things, we use these negative things in our life, it will not remain unpunished because it becomes true what we are saying. Therefore, be careful what you say and use terms that are good for you. Be good to yourself. Be very, very good to yourself. Tell yourself that you love yourself. Tell yourself that you are wealthy. Tell yourself that you understand the truth. Tell yourself that you are good at sharing it with others. Tell yourself you are a healthy person. You are a very healthy person. And as you do this, as you love yourself and you tell yourself these phrases, your subconscious will lead you to the right actions so that it will become true in your life. Because what you think is what you become. And so it is important what you're saying to yourself and what you think of yourself. When you think it, you are using the raw power to put it into something, but when you say it, you amplify. When you say it, you amplify it. It makes it even more powerful. Thank you so much for watching this video, and for those of you who are not in TBC and are not understanding why we're doing what we're doing, you don't understand what TBC is for, I encourage you, do yourself the favor and search it out. Go to blog.TheBillionCoin.info to educate yourself on what this currency or this internet money is really about. What are we accomplishing here? And as you gain an understanding on that, it will help you to make a decision whether you want to be part of it or not. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that I have brought an inspiration to you in some way.